Hi there, Dawn from Dawn's Earthly Delights and Wildcrafted Botanicals. So I want to show you this raised garden bed box. So this one has different kinds of plants in here. So this area I have Thai spinach. This is actually a broccoli that is going to seed. As you can see, it didn't produce any florets. And over here we have rainbow Swiss chard and some beet seeds from a couple of seasons ago, actually, that still spring up here and there. So, excuse me, one of the things that can happen in your garden is when you get an unusual amount of heat and little rain. And this year in the Pacific Northwest, we've had above normal temperatures, so it's actually been in the mid to high 80s. We haven't had any rain in like 3 weeks, I think, or longer. And so even though I kept it at bay for a while with the compost tea, which adds nitrogen in order to keep your plants from just bolting to seed, the extreme heat, and it's been a few months since I seeded this bed, they're finally going to seed. And this is Thai spinach. This is a broccoli. I can't find my tag right now to tell you exactly which kind it is. But as you can see over here, these are starting to produce the broccoli heads. So not everything. And then down here, I have different kinds of rainbow Swiss chard because I seeded this earlier in the year, and it needs a really good watering because I knew these ones from last year were going to bolt to seed, and I wanted that. So the reason why you want 1 or 2 or 3 plants to bolt to seed is you want to replenish your seed supply every year, so you don't have to worry about buying seeds. You know exactly what your seeds grew with, what they didn't grow with, what kind of a year it was. Is it GMO? Are you sure? Is there any kind of toxic pesticides? And the good thing about growing your own seeds is that you know all that firsthand. So these are just Swiss chard and some beets, and as soon as I give this a good water, the younger plants will come in and they'll just start exploding. So as you can see here, this is when it's in its flowering stage, and the flowers have mostly died back, and you can see the tiny little seed pods forming, and you should be able to see pollen. So you can actually help the pollination by just waving that stuff around. And that helps kind of speed up the pollination. Now over here on this plant, you can see that it's already well past the pollination phase and is actually forming these seeds. So even though it grows in these clusters, every single one of these individual seeds has the potential of life, a new plant. And that's amazing because all it takes is a few, just for your own small scale family farming, it only takes 1 or 2 of these plants. But I share seeds with my neighbors, and I will get to a point where I will probably start selling them very soon. But we exchange seeds regularly so we can see how the other things grow and what kind of conditions I have versus my neighbor. It's a great way to build your community and your neighborhood up and just have good relations with your neighbor. And I have the best neighbors ever. They're just amazing people. So in about another month, they're gonna start turning brown and dying back and looking kind of terrible, at which point, once they start drying really well, I'm gonna pull these and I'm gonna dry them. I tend to put everything in my dehydrator on low, so not above 100 degrees, and I let them dry just the rest of the way to make sure that they're good and dry, because you don't want mold. Once it molds, you've got an entire ruined seed supply. And then I'm going to put them in a glass container and just seal it up tight and just leave it alone until next year. So the other thing I'm going to do is my secondary planting. So we're in the middle of July. This is bolting to seed. So I'm going to pull a lot of these plants out, and the ones that have the strongest looking seeds, I'm going to keep those in here. And then I'm going to reseed this entire bed with more spinach, because you can get a couple of rotations of spinach a year, as well as lots of your leafy greens. So let me know what you think. If you have any questions, if you have any knowledge that you think might be beneficial to me and others, that would be great. So thank you again. Bye.